Okay. So, gonna definitely try and keep this one a little shorter today just because I know everybody is focused on end of month and working with your teams, hopefully. But this is the last week that we're going to be going through the GoPro book. If you haven't started it yet or you want to grab it, there are some used versions online that are really inexpensive, like under $5. You can also get it on Audible and you can get it on Amazon too. So if you just want the convenience, it's definitely worth it. Something that I encourage everybody to at least read once and then pass on to somebody on your team. But before we jump into that, I want to talk a little bit about why now and why Q Sciences, because I don't think a lot of people realize what they're sitting on with this opportunity. And this timing that we have literally right now going into the fall season, fall is usually a very explosive time in this industry. There's lots of sales, there's Black Friday, people are already thinking about shopping and the holidays. But why this company specifically is what is going to catapult your business. You have to have that belief and that excitement in order to really convey to your people why they should be here, right? And I think myself included, a lot of us are not living up to our potential in this area. A lot of us are letting fear dictate our action or inaction. And I know that's been the case for me. Like, I know that there are people that are on my chicken list that I have not talked to yet because I'm worried and I don't know why, right? So, if we truly understood what we're sitting on, I think that would not be the case. So, I don't know if any of you caught Jake's call last night that he did with Claudia, but he said some things that I think we need to be shouting from the rooftops, honestly. And so, one of those things that he said, as far as not just the timing that we have as a company, because he did mention like coming out of COVID, not only do people want, e-commerce, like most people are doing the whole order something, have it shipped to your house thing, even with groceries, even with, stuff that they could get elsewhere, they're getting on places like Amazon and that kind of thing. So it's not only a trendy to be in e-commerce right now, but people are also looking at their health more than ever now as a priority, especially coming out of 2020 and everything that we saw. That's just eyes on health is a much bigger conversation now than it ever has been. But beyond that, these next 6 weeks at Q Sciences are going to be explosive. So one of the things that he said is in the next 6 weeks, Q Sciences is going to be launching 4 new products. So that is a huge reason to be here and to be here now. The other thing that we're going to be doing is launching 6 new seasonal flavors between now and the end of the year. So if you think about like everything that comes with fall flavors, we've got pre-workout flavors that are going to be coming. You've got holiday stuff. Like there's just a lot that's happening. And it's a really good time to get people that are already using things like protein, things like pre-workout, all of those fun things to go ahead and switch over and get started with a company that is having massive growth in the industry. The other thing is our event in January. So not a lot of time between now and then, but the major thing that's happening is we're going to be launching a new vertical. And Jake, the cat's kind of out of the bag at this point as far as what that is. But what Jake said is this is in the United States alone, a $3 trillion a year industry. And most people are already using it. And so it's household cleaning. And today, literally, like today, is when some of our advisory council and top leaders in the company are getting a chance to trial the first parts of this new product line. And they're, making sure that it's something that is truly a quintessential product for us. So it's going to be amazing. It's going to be taking something that is a whole new world for us here at Q Sciences. And part of that involves trusting the company that you partnered with, right? Like they are not going to lead you astray. And that's the other kind of piece to this. So, what I want people to understand is that you are not just an ambassador for a product. Most companies, if you get started with them, you're an ambassador for a product for them or a product line or whatever that they have. And that's awesome. Like there's plenty of opportunity with that. But you are in a partnership here with the company. And that's what makes this so different from anything else out there. You are literally in a 50-50 partnership with the company, and the company is going to help you ensure your success because they're not going to let themselves fail, right? And it's become so much bigger than just you being an ambassador for a product or a product line or having product testimonies. It's literally a back and forth strategic partnership with a company that is going to the top, right? So within the next 5 years, we're going to be $1 billion household name. So the other piece of that is that, we're lowering prices. We've already done it. You saw that on the hemp line, but they're going to be doing it again in November. So another hint for you, November market timeframe, we've got more price reductions coming. And the reason why I'm bringing this up is because we have 10 days left this month, if you include today, for people to join with that $40 enrollment fee. And this is not a time to be shy or to let your fear dictate who you're talking to or how excited you are when you talk to them or any of it. I personally believe that what we have here is worth way more than the $99 for the year. So if people can't get started this month, it's not like the end of the world. I would still be here if this business costs $100 every single month, right? Like I truly think that that's what we're sitting on here as far as the opportunity. But $40 is just is a huge advantage and a huge, boost to being able to grow your business right now. So there are a lot of people that are looking for extra income and a lot of people that, they're tight on money. And so being able to have that kind of the savings is huge for them. Like that could be the make or break difference whether somebody can get started or not. So I just bring that up because last week we talked about enrolling, and one of the main parts of that was having posture and being bold when you approach people. And so now I hope you understand what that truly means. And maybe be extra, extra bold, right? Like be extra excited, be extra straightforward in your asks when you talk to people, because what we have here is really exciting and unique. And it's something that they will not get from any other company. Like, yes, you can make money at other companies, but you're not going to have the same level of partnership that you have here. And that is really what gets me super excited. So last week, if you haven't caught that, we have a recording. I'll make sure I get it up. We talked a little bit about the 4 questions to ask for closing, and that is really going to help you qualify your people. So how much time do they have? How much money do they want to make? Does their time commitment match that level of money that they are wanting to make? Like, what do those conversations look like? And that's part of what we talked about last week. Okay, so the other piece of this and the other piece of being bold that we may be touched on, but I want to make sure that we are utilizing is asking the question, like creating a call to action after you've gotten them in the 3-way chats, in the opportunity calls, all of those things. Ask them literally, now that you have all your questions answered, or now that you have all the information, is there anything holding you back from starting today? You have to know, because it's either a yes or no question. And if it's no, then you give them more information until they are ready to either flat out say, nope, this is not for me, or yep, I think I'm ready. And I think a lot of the times the answer will eventually be, yeah, I'm ready. But people need to feel confident in that choice. So Your goal is to educate them and give them the information so that they can make a confident decision. I will definitely share the recording. Okay, so skill number 6 in the book is launching, and I am not going to reinvent the wheel as far as this training. I actually think Brooke Lloyd knocked it out of the park with her training on Monday, as far as exactly what to do to get your new person launched and exactly what you're going to do within the first 7 days of, start to finish to getting your person that first paycheck to get their investment back. So if you haven't watched that, I will put that in our chats. I think we have lots of trainings on this topic, but there are a couple things in the book that I think are really helpful as far as going through the process. So number 1 is to validate their decision. So when you meet with them, it's probably going to be either later the day that they enrolled or 24 to 48 hours after they enrolled. And that is already enough time for their, paralysis to start to set in, because their doubt is starting to creep up and their excitement level is starting to go down. So validate their decision and explain why you're excited, what you see happening, what you see in them, why you think that they're going to crush this and be amazing, and share either your success story or somebody on your team's success story that they might be able to relate to. The second one is to set expectations. So this kind of goes back to what Brooke was talking about in her 7-day launch. Before they even get started, they're going to understand that you're going to be working very closely together for the next 7 days. And what she said was, a lot of times we are trying to help people hit their BPE bonuses in that time frame within a month's time, when really we need to be focusing on the very first week. What is happening in that very first week? And a lot of times we're just not condensing the timeline enough and setting the expectation that if you're going to enroll today, we're going to go ahead and, tomorrow, like, we're going to have people on calls. We're going to be working together hand in hand every single day this week, so that Friday, that you're getting a paycheck the following Friday. And then the third thing is to plug them into a set system or a set checklist. What are the non-negotiables that they need to have to start their business? And so these are the things that you are not going to get off of the call with them, their launch call, until they've done. So for them, that could be setting up their subscription order, right? So like Brooke was saying, if they don't have subscription, you're wasting your time, because they've already shown you that they're not committed to the next 60 days here, right? So subscription is a non-negotiable. And in the launch slides, if you're going to use those, both Cassidy and I have, kind of some checklist items to go through with your people. That's definitely one of them. Making sure that they're active with 100 PV is another one. You want to set them up for success. You want them to be ready to go right out the gate so that they're going to earn that investment back faster, and that they have products in hand that they can not only have a personal experience with, but can also share with people as well. You want to set them up with the tools that they need to have success. So an understanding of what those are, as far as, the milkshake link, or, 3-way chats or team chats or anything like that, getting them connected to a leader. So even if you're the person launching them and you did not enroll them, making sure that they understand like who their team is, what they, what they do, what the general schedule is, like when is Q News, all of those kinds of things, like helping them be enabled to be able to plug in and have an understanding of what they're doing, why they're here, like what the seat is going to look like over the next couple weeks, over the next month, and then actually getting into action and doing the inviting with them. So step 4, you're going to show them the plan, show them what it looks like to get to Builder Pro and Executive and what some of those steps might look like. So how we're going to work together to get you your first customer, how we're going to work together to get you your first 2 ambassadors, how we're going to work with them to get them there too. You know, break it down into bite-sized steps so that they really get an idea of what that looks like without it being overwhelming. So the more you can take that into like little nuggets, the better it is for them. And then obviously you're not going to get off the call with them until you've actually done something actionable. So inviting, helping them write their peak post, you know, doing something that's going to actually move the needle in their business, making sure that we're working with them and always setting up that next exposure. So we're inviting, we've got a call set, you know, for tomorrow. And then at tomorrow's call, we're going to work with those new people and find out who they would want to invite to a following call. This keeps the momentum high, and it also shows them that like this really doesn't have to be that complicated. And you know, if you're going to get no's, I would rather experience no's together so that we can work through that. And it's far less scary than letting that be an action item that they take home, get the no, and then stop doing this because that was a little uncomfortable, right? So that's where it can really stall that action for your newest person. The last skill in the book that he talks about is promoting events. And this is, again, like I said, not that far away. So January, end of January is our next big event called Discover. It's in Salt Lake City. And we do regional events leading up to this. So I know Brittany Hitch has a couple happening in Nashville. There will probably be more regionals in Atlanta and areas where Josie is, in San Diego, in Phoenix, or Arizona. So building from event to event is really important, but learning the skill of being able to teach your team how to get to events is what's going to help you grow faster. The reason for this is because the immersive feeling that you have when you're in the room, that builds belief, and it also builds confidence in yourself and your ability to do this. Getting to events really is like the ultimate tool. It's the feeling in the room that you can't duplicate. Like you could be giving them the exact same information, the exact same training, the exact same everything, but it's that feeling that they get from being there that actually helps to solidify their decision in their mind that A, this was a really good decision to make, but B, that it's something that they can do, that they will have help, that they're going to be around people that have the same goals and the same vision, and we're doing this together, right? So it creates that social validation that if that person walking across the stage can do that, and she said, you know, she's a mom and she's got, you know, a crazy schedule and whatever it is, like I can do this too, right? So you want your people to be able to experience that feeling. Brooke Lloyd on her training said that she even goes as far as to talk about this on the launch call. And there's a reason why her name is always one of the top names for people getting to events, because it's a non-negotiable for her. If you're going to be working with her as her mentor, you're going to have a ticket to the convention or to whatever the next event is. So you'll have to decide for yourself where your line is as far as that's concerned. But our team is typically one of the best teams as far as getting people to conventions. So Cassidy was recognized as the top silver team for getting her people to the last big event that we had at convention. So being able to build from event to event, this is why we do multiple per year. That's really what's going to help your team grow and duplicate. So if everybody on your team just brings at least one more person with them each time we have a new event, imagine how much your team is going to grow, how long people are going to stay. Coming up with a plan for doing this is really important. And so part of this skill is really just talking to your people about the importance of events, and determining, where in your business is this, as far as like a boundary or a non-negotiable for you. Okay, and then the last piece of this is that anything worth doing takes time. So at the very beginning of our series, we talked a little bit about the people that went to like 4-year colleges or did some sort of certification program that took a long time, or anything that you're doing to build skill in a career that's going to be profitable takes time, in every normal industry, right? So there's no exception to that in our industry as well. And setting up people's expectations that this may not happen overnight for you. Q Sciences is in a special time frame, like a special timing right now, where we have the ability to earn more than our skill level because of where we are in the industry right now, as far as the fact, like, we're an unsaturated company and we're in that momentum phase, right? But even without that, you still need to learn the skills and still need to put the time into developing yourself as a leader, as a person that can just handle the day-to-days of this business. There's always going to be something that requires you to get to that next level, whether it's personal development, team development, skills, whatever it is. So Eric Worre talks a lot about the 1-3-5-7 formula. And this is the idea that it takes, on average, 1 year in the business to really learn what you're doing enough to become profitable. It takes 3 years on average of consistent part-time work in order to be able to go full-time. 5 years on average to become a 6-figure earner. And 7 years on average to become a true expert in the industry and in your business. So thinking about that time frame, like, are you committed to the long-term vision of what this is going to take for you and your business? And some people are going to surpass this timeline. Like, we've already seen that happening. It's not to say that that can't be you, but don't compare your day 1 to someone else's day 10,000. And also, if it did take you 1 rank a year, would that still be worth it? Right? So level setting your own expectations, but also the expectations of the people that are joining you, and really understanding what it means to have that long-term vision, and know that it's okay to not come into this being an expert right away, right? Like, it's okay if it takes time for you to really get your groove and find your place here and start to grow. Okay. So I want to just end this out by talking about tracking our business and what it's going to take to end the month of September strong. And part of this requires actually knowing what's happening in our business. So if I'm bringing in a new person, do I know how many times it takes me to reach out to somebody before I get them on a call? Like, do I know on average how many times it takes a follow-up before they actually make a purchasing decision? Do I know on average, like, what my numbers are for getting the people that I personally enrolled to Builder Pro and Executive? Those are the kinds of things that we all, myself included, could do to start tracking our business to get metrics, because it's not. So Eric in the book talks about creating a plan, doing your plan, but also reviewing your plan and understanding like where your metrics are so that you can actually have actionable steps to improve. And so that's what I want to focus on for the end of the month. I'm going to pull back here. So between now and the end of the month, starting today, let's track how many people it takes of reach outs before we get one to say yes to an opportunity call. How many, times of follow up does it take to get somebody to make some action step? And I would break it down like getting them to actually come to a call, getting them to get into a 3-way chat, getting them to actually enroll. And it's something that we can track, but also know that our metrics are going to change as our skills get better. And so if your closing percentage is for every, 1 out of every 50 people is going to enroll with me, then next month, I can be working on the skills that it takes to make that closing percentage better. And I guarantee you, the more you do this, like the more you track it, the more you'll feel confident in the process. Like Brooke Lloyd always says, fall in love with the process, not the outcome, or something like that. Probably butchering it. But she and Kristen Wyatt are actually doing a challenge around this through the end of the month. Let me pull it up here. It's in the Aligned Society. So she says, if I called you personally today and said, I will give you $10,000 on October 1st if you can prove to me that you've gotten 50 people to look at Q before the month ends, even if none of them join or buy from you, would you do it? Would you care about what they thought, or would you care about whether they rejected you? No, because that the reason for doing that is so much bigger than whether they say yes or no, right? Like you're going to get $10,000. So that's kind of the idea, the mindset that you should have going into this. Like we already know the outcome is going to be my business moves forward. It doesn't matter to me if Susie says yes or no. It's the process that gets me to that outcome. And so, and I'll share this too in our group chat, but she said, basically, that's what we're going to do. So she said, send an audio, and she gives kind of some language around how to invite, but it's basically like, hope you had a good week. I know this is kind of random. I wanted to reach out and actually talk to you about the company I've aligned myself with. I am working with a member of our board of advisors, and we're really looking for some strong founding leaders to help us shape the culture of this very ground floor opportunity. My mentor is blank, and then edify the person that you're working with. They have recorded a short and sweet video about the company and the products. It may not be a good fit for you, but would you be open to watching it? And if they say yes, then you can say like, great, it's 20 minutes. Is now a good time, or like figure out when they actually can make that commitment to watch it. And then basically you're going to screenshot proof that you've done it. And she is going to have some like contest winners that she will pull that will get some sort of prize from her. But being able to track then for your new people, like, okay, I've been running this experiment now for 10 days. And when I invite, however many people, 5 people a day, 10 people a day, whatever it is, like these are the results that I have. So shows you and shows your new people that there's some like method to the madness, and shows you where you need to improve, whether it's follow-ups or the actual inviting, or getting people closed and enrolled wherever it is. And then you can kind of tweak your skills, hone your skills based on everything that we've been learning over the last 4 weeks in whatever area you need. So that's it. Any questions from anyone, or any comments? Anything that people have happening in their business before we jump off?
I have a quick question.
Yeah.
Okay. If we have some people that are having to now focus mostly on building relationships, would you still have them do this challenge?
Yeah, I would even have them track like, okay, how many times a day am I like doing that process of relationship building? Because networking is still a skill. And I would look at it like that. Like that is their
Okay.
job, is to network.
Sorry, I should have clarified. Okay, yes, I'll have them do that, but I meant like the Align Society challenge too.
Oh, I would say yes, but I would put like the bulk of the time up front on the relationship. So maybe they're not actually doing that step of inviting until the last couple days of the month. And I think
Okay.
that that's okay. Because hopefully they've spent a lot of time then building up relationship, getting to know the people, like asking good questions, so that it doesn't come across as weird. Because yeah, I think there are probably a few people that that's kind of the stage that they're in. And so when I share Brooke's recording, she talks a little bit too about that process of like, okay, well, if you need to be in that stage, that's when you're going to learn how to build influence. And we need to spend some time going through like what it means to build influence within your network. So, yeah. Any other questions, comments? I know this was a shorter one, but I want to be able to spend some time today just getting into action with our teams. Like we've only got 10 days, let's use them to the best of our abilities. And we can sit on trainings all day long, but at the end of the day, if we're not out there just like doing it imperfectly, it's worthless, right? Like you can spend all your time being the perfect student, but if you don't take imperfect action, you're not going to get anywhere. So I would much rather have people kind of floundering their way through it than, you know, just focusing on the training and like self-development portion of this. But I'm excited for all of you. I see all of your names pop up in the chats and you have things happening. So I don't think that's a coincidence. I really think people that continue to plug in are the ones that move the needle in their business in some way. So I appreciate you being here. And yeah, let's go have a great end of the month.
Thank you.